Today I will introduce you electric cabinet column roll forming machine production line, and it's not very common in roll forming field. The profile is a little complex. It has many punched holes in it, and we are using the punch press to punch the holes, so it can be faster and much more regular. And the millimeter, the material here is 1 to 1.5 millimeter, because the more complex profile, the thickness of it won't be too thick. And also here is one formed product, and you can see the surface of it. It's a little complex. It has many bending points and many punch holes, and you can see the line here. We are using the laser for welding to weld the two ends of it. It's continuous welding and it's laser welding, so it can be very fast and very beautiful, no scars, and the whole intensity of the whole product is much higher than the spot welding. This is a new way to do. This is a new way to do the closed tube, and it's very welcomed in roll forming fields. Okay, so the whole speed of this line will be 2 to 5 meters per minute. And this line will include the coiler with leveler, punch press, several feeder punch press, roll forming, and hydraulic saw cut, then the out tables. Okay, now let's have a look at the details. This is the start part of the production line. This is a decoiler with a leveler. This is integrated leveler. It can help our customer to save much more space, and it will be more cost efficient. And this is a manual decoiler. The power of it is supplied by the leveler. It will be 3 kilowatts. And here the leveler is a very important component when we are using the material thickness up to 1.5 millimeter, and the yield strength over 300 MPa. And you can see there are several pinch rollers here and some guide rollers here. This all for let the clamp the material to be much more tight, and it's to eliminate the stress on the surface of the coil and remove the crossbow on the surface of the coil too. So it will be much more favorable when we come to our next step. And here it will adopt a control cabinet to when we are commissioning the machine too. It will be more easier when we are commissioned. So, and this profile is by the laser for welding to weld the two ends of the formed products. So it will have a higher requirement to our coil, and it can't have sickle bends, and the size of the coil need to be very accurate. Okay, so this is the decoiler and the leveler part. After this will comes to our punch. And you can see this is a servo feeder with 80 tons punch press. This is a servo feeder. Some manufacturers will only equip it with a servo motor. It's much different with our servo feeder. It can use to let the tolerance to be higher, measuring the length much more accurate, and it can have a faster stop and start function. And in the box, it will clamp the material first, then release it to go to the next punch press. Only with servo motor, it won't be this good. And here, the punch press, we are using Yangli brand. It's the best brand in Jiangsu province, and it's also the biggest brand in Jiangsu province. It has a quality guarantee, and it has around the world, it has after-sales service agent points, so it's very convenient for our customers in later usage. They can find their agent in local market to replace some components in it. And also the ton of it is 80 pounds, so the pressure is 80 pounds. You can see the punch mode here. Once you set the mode, it can be very fast and regular. And the hose is very complex. When we are having very complex profiles, using a punch press is a very good choice. It can punch 40 to 60 times per minute. It's very fast, and it will have a separate control cabinet to control the punch press too, to correspond to work with the whole production line. Okay, so after the punch press, we'll come to our roll forming part. Apparently, you can see we are adopting a iron cast and gearbox drive. You can see this group is the most stable and the strongest structure in our roll forming field. The reason, and you can see the forming stands. In totally, we have 36 forming stands. The reason we are using many forming stands is because the complexity of this profile. It has many punching bending points, so we will need many forming stands to form the final product to be more perfect. And another reason is we need a process to release the stress in the material. It's also very important to the formation of the products. And the reason we are using the iron cast and the gearbox drive is because we have many forming stands, so it will need to load much more pressure all the time. And if you are using wall panel and the chain drive, it will be okay for the first several months, but the chain will break in like half a year. And if you are using poor brand chain, it only can work like several months. So, and if you adopting iron cast and the gearbox, it will be able to work all the time. It won't be break. The time at least 10 years. And the iron cast is poured in one piece, so it's very stable and very strong, just like a tree towering in the ground. And the gearbox, you can see it's very big too. It's double chained. It's double chained structure, so it's very stable and it's very strong too. For the same reason, to have a much higher load of bearing and work in higher efficiency. And also when it's working in long time, it can keep the production line work in high efficiency station. Okay, so also we will have some rollers when we are forming the angles, which is tilted. You will see, and it's very important too, because when we are forming some vertical angles, we use these rollers to let the vertical angle to be much more accurate. So after the roll forming, and it will come to our laser welding part, and this is the most important part of the whole production line. Here we are using the laser full welding. Usually we have two main ways to do the welding, which one is the spot welding and another is the laser full welding. And if you are using the laser full welding, it's continuous welding, so you can punch forming while laser welding. It can be faster compared to spot welding, and also compared to the spot welding, the products will be much more beautiful because there are no scars on the surface of the products, and also the whole intensity of the final product will be much higher because the power is supported by the full length of the products. while the sport welding, the power is supported only by the small points on the surface of the product. And it's very important when we are using this profile, because this profile is only two ends of the material to be together. So this is very important. And if you are producing a simpler profile without punch, the laser welding speed can reach to 20 millimeters per minute. And it also will have a separate control cabinet to control the welding length and the speed of it. Also with a screen to know how the laser welding point is aiming. And also it will have a cooling system in the control cabinet too, because if it's working in a long time, the speed of it will quickly be high, and it's very important to cool the temperature down when we are producing profiles to be much more safe and protect our machine and the products and the workers. So after the laser welding machine, it will come to our flying saw cut. Before the cut, we have a correction head, which is to adjust the straightness of the final products. Not only horizontally but also vertically. It's very important to the final product for some of our customers which have much more strict requirements to final product straightness. And the flying saw cut is very favorable when we are cutting a closed tube, because it won't cause deformation to the tube. And the column is also a closed tube too. So, and also a hydraulic cut has no wastage, so it's favorable for our material saving. And also the cutting surface is flat and no burrs. It's very beautiful too. And here the two main points for the flying cut is, one, we have a cooling system, because the temperature of the whole production will be increase very quickly, and the cooling system can put off the sparkles for when the cutting, while cutting, to protect our workers to be more safe. And also here, this cutting is a infrared probe points sharing. It has infrared line to see, to know the holes of the production, because compared to other sensors for the cutting, these profiles have many holes. It's hard to know how long it has gone, and to use infrared probe shearing, it will be much more accurate, so the cutting blade won't collide the base very oftenly. And often this motor is for supply the power of it, and we have a separate motor to supply the flying function too. And here this is a gas cylinder to clamp the profiles to be much more tight. So it's also to protect our cutting blade. Some manufacturers won't configure the clamp base, so the cut blades will be much more easily to break, and that's very that's a big waste too. So this is our whole flying saw cut. So this is the whole production line for our electric template column roll forming machine, and you can see it adopts the coiler with leveler, punch press, servo feeder, and laser full welding, and flying saw cut, and with some special sensors and a gas cylinder to supply the power of it. These configurations are all under communication with our customers. So the machine here are all customized to your needs. The communication is very important to let us know better your needs and your budget to design the best most suitable machine for you. And we will commission the machine in our factory. So when it's shipped to your factory, once it's installed, it can be able to produce the profiles at once. And we will offer you manual of use and installation videos, and we'll have after-sales service group with our engineers in it. We will be with you all the time. You can communicate every problem that occurs between while installation and while installation. And if you are the warranty time for you is 5 years for the motor, 2 years for the whole line, and after whole life after sales service. So if you are interested in our machines, you can send us your inquiry. We will give you feedback and reply to you as soon as possible. So this is today's machines. Please subscribe our channel. Goodbye. Bye bye.